Now I have seen posts all over social media here lately about these command lights burning out. And once your camper's out of warranty, what do? I'm going to show you how to replace your lights so you can go from this to this. Here's the lights that I picked out for my camper. I purchased a 4-pack in warm white at $36.99. Now this price was on May 3rd, 2022, so it may fluctuate a little bit. They do offer this light in different colors, but when I was purchasing, only the warm white came in the 4-pack. The warm white is a little bit warmer than I like, but at nighttime they look fine in the camper. I also chose these lights because they look almost identical to the factory lights. I like this because you can install a few of them and they won't look so different from the factory ones installed. So far I've installed 6 of these lights and I haven't had any defective ones. Now you don't have to get the same style lights that I got. The reason I chose these is because they still have the center button. While the living room lights I have are on a switch, the ones in my master bedroom are not. So I actually have to turn them on and off with this button. If all of yours have switches, you could get a fancy one with a chrome bezel or something like that. Just keep that in mind when you're picking out lights. So let's take a look at the difference between these lights. This one came in a 4-pack. Comes with the wires and 3 screws. Compared to the old light, we have these discs with just a little plastic button hanging out. These covers actually twist off. The button actually has a spring. And you can see the difference in the lighting pattern. This has more LEDs. It's also a lot more spread out, which is going to give you a softer light. Looking at the back, you can see this one has a metal plate for heat dissipation, as where this one is just the plastic chip. The old light also has a 4-hole design, where the new light has a 3-hole design. Although the new lights are a lot cheaper, I'm going to tell you right now the build quality on them is a lot better than the command lights that come in most new campers. So to change out these lights, here's everything you're going to need. You're going to need a drill with a 1/16 drill bit, a pen, a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, a set of diagonal pliers or snips or wire cutters, some wire strippers, some 22 to 16 gauge wire nuts, and some electrical tape. Now if you have one and you know how to use it, I also suggest getting a multimeter to check voltages before you start working. Before you get started, you'll want to remove all sources of power from your camper. This means unplugging from shore power and disconnecting your battery. For my particular battery, the socket I needed was a 9/16. So first thing we're going to do is pry this cover off. There's no trick to it, it just pops right off. There we go. And then we'll want to take a meter if you have one handy and just double check that we don't have any voltage on here. So we'll check our positive and our negative. Black is positive, white is negative, and we're reading 0 volts. So now we can take this out. We're going to remove these screws and we're going to set them aside. We're going to reuse them. I'll explain why in a minute. Pull this out. You'll want a good couple inches. The more the better. That's plenty. Now we'll cut these wires one by one just in case. And then we'll take our wire strippers. We'll strip off about a 1/2 inch. And then we'll trim the wires on our new light. Comes with about 9, maybe 10 inches. We're going to go ahead and cut these back to about 4 or 5. And then we'll strip these. And now we'll want to twist these wires. If you're looking straight at the wire, you'll want to twist it clockwise. This is important. I'll explain in just a minute. Do that with our negative. And then we'll take our new light and we'll put the two black wires together and we'll give them a little twist, again in the clockwise direction. And you still want the two ends lined up at the end. And then we'll take our wire nut and we'll slip that over the end, and we're going to twist this clockwise. Now the reason why we twisted all the wires clockwise is because when we twist on this nut, it's going to keep everything from untwisting, all the strands. There we go. Now while we have one, we're going to go ahead and put electrical tape on it. And again, we'll do that clockwise. Make sure you go all the way down to the wires and then back up to the nut. This will help that stay in place on those bumpy roads. Now we'll do our white wire, which is our negative, DC negative. We'll put them together. Just a slight clockwise twist. And we'll put our nut on. Tighten clockwise. There we go. Start at the nut, wrap clockwise, come down to the wires, and back up to the nut. Press everything in firm. We're good to go. Hey there, I just want to take a quick second and say thanks for stopping by. If you're learning something from this video, do me a favor and hit that like button down below. It'll help others find this video too. And if you're new here, I've got tons of new content coming out. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out. Let's get back to our video. Now the cover on our new lights twists off. So we'll rotate that, pop it off. Now these new lights have a 3-hole design, as where our old ones, they utilize 2 holes. So we'll tuck these in, wire nut, then the wire. Shove them on in there. And we'll line up one of our holes where we use that one. And then look for the other hole. Make sure that you're covering it with the new fixture. And then go ahead and mark your centers of these holes. Alright. We'll take one of our old screws. Screw in our first hole. Just make it barely snug. This panel's real thin. Now we're going to drill our new holes. And when we drill our new holes, we're going to go slow and put just an ever so slight pressure upwards. Remember, this panel's thin. There we go. And the other one. There we go. Now we only have 2 of the old screws, these ones, and here's the screws that came with it. They're a lot smaller, so that's why I want to reuse these old ones. But since we only have 2, we'll have to use one of the new ones. Go ahead and screw this second screw in. Good and snug. We'll go ahead and do our third screw. Just barely snug. We'll take our cover, line up the notches, and twist it on. And that's it. Now we'll go ahead and reconnect our battery and then come test our light. There it is. So as you can see, changing these lights is really simple. It takes about 10 minutes per light once you get going. So if you have to do a lot of them, I'd set aside maybe a good hour to get them done. And that's going to do it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you learned something, do me a favor and hit that like button down below so other people can find this video too. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on all the new content coming out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.